Every election cycle, you are bombarded with these.
I support the Second Amendment.
Bill Ray running for Congress.
Ron loves playing with the kids.
Build the wall. His China family has given him tens of millions of dollars.
We've got the deportation bus. That's right, you heard me. The Michael Williams deportation bus.
It's just unbearable. It's like lava in your eyes.
Gonna fill this bus with illegals to send them back to where they came from.
Some people see a dumpster fire and do nothing but watch the spectacle.
I will beat Joe Manchin and ditch Cocaine Mitch for the sake of the kids.
Dramatic music, ominous voiceovers, they all come from groups with names that sound like they were generated by a patriotic algorithm. And they spend billions of dollars, a record-shattering 1.9 billion in dark money last cycle, to get inside your head and tell you who to vote for. But they never, ever answer the one question that actually matters. Who is paying for this? The answer is a secret, a perfectly legal, open secret. It's a shell game designed to make you feel powerless, cynical, and ready to just tune it all out. And that is precisely the point. This machine doesn't want your vote. Your vote does not matter in this machine. They just want you to stay quiet about it. So today, we're going to follow the money. We're going to expose the shells, and we're going to show you a handful of billionaires and corporations who have built a hidden financial machine that has completely broken American democracy. Let's play the shell game. So, to understand how this shell game works, you have to start with the moment that rules were rewritten. The year was 2010. The place, the Supreme Court. The case, Citizens United versus FEC. In simple terms, the court looked at all the money corporations were legally forbidden from spending directly on elections and said, you know what? That's basically speech, and we can't restrict speech, so they unlocked the vault. Now, the court didn't just say go nuts. They made two key assumptions to reassure everyone this wouldn't be a disaster. Assumption number one, that all this corporate cash will be independent from the candidates, because nothing says arm's length relationship like a billionaire spending millions to get their best friend elected to the most powerful office in the world. It's like saying the ventriloquist and his dummy have an independent conversation. And assumption number two was even more, let's call it optimistic. The court believed that since this spending would be public, voters could easily see who was behind the messages and make up their own minds. It was a beautiful theory. There was just one tiny problem. They were completely wrong on both counts. Spectacularly wrong, because almost immediately a very specific, very boring sounding section of the tax code, section 501c4, became the most important loophole in American politics. It's for social welfare organizations, and the key feature is they don't have to reveal their donors. And before you ask, what kind of social welfare are we talking about? The answer is the welfare of politicians, by which I mean buying them. The shell game had officially begun. So, how does the shell game actually work? It's a 3-shell shuffle, and each shell is more deceptive than the last. Shell number one, the money. This is our friend, the billionaire or massive corporations. They have a policy they want passed or one they want killed. Let's say, I don't know, keeping insulin prices high. Now, they can't just hand this cash to a politician directly. That's a felony. And it's also pretty tacky in these circles, okay? They got methods. So they slide it under shell number two, the dark money group. These groups have patriotic names that sound like they were generated by a committee of eagles. They're registered as 501c4s, social welfare organizations. And what is their social welfare? Well, according to the IRS, it can include issue advocacy. And issue advocacy is a term so broad it can mean anything from we love puppies to we are funding 10,000 attack ads to destroy this person's life. The beautiful part? This shell is solid. You can't see through it. The billionaire's donation is a secret. The public has no idea who funded this. The trail is already getting cold. Finally, the money slides under shell number three, the super PAC. This group does have to disclose its donors. So we all see that. For example, the Congressional Leadership Fund got 10 million from the American Action Network. What is that? And the super PAC uses that money to blanket the airwaves with attack ads. But because we only see one step back, we think the American Action Network is the villain. We never see the billionaire. The original source of the cash has vanished. It's a perfect legal laundromat for influence. And this isn't some small time operation. In the 2024 cycle, a dark money group called Future Forward USA Action funneled over $304 million to its affiliated super PAC. So the next time you see an ad from a group with a name that sounds like Patriots for Apple Pie, don't ask what they stand for, ask who's behind them. Because the game is rigged and the house always wins. Unless you know how to spot the shuffle. So what does this multi-billion-dollar shell game actually buy? It doesn't just buy ads, it buys outcomes, it buys policy, and it's buying the future you thought that you were voting for. Let's start with something simple, staying alive. Why does the United States, the richest country on the planet, have the highest drug prices in the world? Is it a mystery? A force of nature? No, it's a purchase. The pharmaceutical industry has spent over $1 billion on lobbying and campaign contributions in the last decade alone. A huge chunk of it is dark money. So when a bill to allow Medicare to negotiate for lower drug prices comes up, it dies. Every single time. It's not a debate. It is in fact a transaction. Your health is less important than their profit margin. That's the business plan. Let's try another one. The planet is on fire. Why can't the US pass serious climate legislation? Because the Koch network and other fossil fuel interests have perfected this dark money game. They build political ecosystems around their lobbying. There are more lobbyists in Washington, D.C. than there are politicians. They fund think tanks to question the science. They bankroll politicians to block the bills, and they run attack ads against anyone who tries to change it. It's a complex issue with many sides. Yeah, the two sides are the entire scientific community and a bunch of oil billionaires who pay for you to say that. But the most insidious thing this machine buys isn't a specific policy. It's your despair. When you see nothing changing, when you feel like your vote doesn't matter, when you think the whole system is rigged, congratulations, you have understood the assignment. The machine is working as designed to not work for us. Look, cynicism is the product that they're selling. Apathy is the victory condition because a silent, disillusioned public is a cheap audience for a show they've already paid to direct. They're selling our demise to us, right? But what if we could rip the curtain back? What if we could follow the money just enough to see the hands pulling the strings? So we know the shell game. We've seen the damage. Now let's put on our detective hats and follow the money. We may not have all the names, but we have enough to see the shape of the monster. Let's start with a classic, American Action Network. Sounds wholesome, right? Like a group that might help you plant a tree or something. In reality, they're one of the biggest dark money conduits in politics. And while they don't disclose their donors, investigative reporters have repeatedly traced their funding back to the pharmaceutical industry. So when you see an ad from them attacking a candidate who wants to lower drug prices, you don't need a leaked memo. You just need common sense, which apparently ain't so common these days, man. Look, maybe we need the uncommon sense. And honestly, all my friends said don't use that joke, but their dark money won't control me. I am Batman. I am Batman. All right. Now let's look at a more modern, insidious twist. This is the 1630 Fund. It's a fiscal sponsor, which is a fancy way of saying it's a dark money incubator. It hosts hundreds of smaller projects, hiding them all under its umbrella. And one of the things it funded was a secret campaign to pay online influencers to make content supporting specific political agendas. Because what better way to promote social welfare than by secretly paying a 22-year-old to do a dance about why transparency in government is a bad idea? This is the new frontier. Them buying TV ads now includes your social media feed. Now, you might be thinking this is a Republican thing or this is a Democrat thing. No, this is a top thing. It's a system meticulously built by the wealthiest 0.1% to influence policy, regardless of the letter next to a politician's name on issue after issue. Drug prices, climate, taxes, Israel. The will of the overwhelming majority of Americans is blocked by the checkbook of a tiny, secretive minority. It's like they have a megaphone and we're having a whispering contest in a hurricane. But what if I told you that people are fighting back? And in some places, they're actually winning. So let's recap. A handful of billionaires and corporations built a hidden financial machine. They use a Supreme Court decision as a blueprint, a tax loophole as a cloak, and our own cynicism as fuel. They broke the system. And the most fucked up part is it's legal. But it doesn't have to be this way, because from Arizona to Washington, D.C., people are fighting back with the one thing the system can't stand: sunlight. They're like fucking vampires. Look, in Arizona, voters were so fed up, they passed the Voters' Right to Know Act, Proposition 211. It's a simple, beautiful law. If you spend big money to influence Arizona elections, you have to publicly disclose your original donors. The dark money groups immediately sued to stop it, which tells you everything you need to know. They are terrified of you knowing who they are, but they lost. The people won. In Arizona, okay, just in Arizona. And on a national level, there's a bill that's been stalled in Congress for years called the Disclose Act. It would do what Arizona did before the entire country. And guess which party is overwhelmingly blocking it? Look, trick question, it doesn't fucking matter. The point is, it's being blocked because they don't want it to pass, which is exactly why we should be screaming for it. So, here's what you can do, and it's not hard. The next time you see a political ad from some vague group, I don't care if you're a Democrat, Republican, or a Martian, ask one question out loud. Who is paying for this? Say it to your TV, comment it on the YouTube ad, tweet it, make that the question they can't escape. Then, find out who your representative in Congress is and demand they support a bill like the Disclose Act. Tell them you want sunlight. It's the kryptonite to the entire system. They're fucking vampires. They're sucking us dry. They're leeching off us. God damn, they're rich. How the fuck? Look, they spent decades building this machine in the shadows, hoping we wouldn't notice, or that if we did, we'd just be too jaded to care. So let's notice, let's care, let's be fucking annoying about it. They wanted a silent majority, let's give them a noisy one. The biggest weapon against a secret is to expose it. Democracy does die in darkness, but it can also be reborn in the light. So turn on the fucking lights, man. God damn it, I don't care if the light bill high. Look, yo, look, this has been the Adonis Black Show, man. Thank you for watching. I will see you next video. Peace.